and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. Great to see you. How are you? We just spent, we saw each other this weekend.
We did. It was like, I feel like we've broached a new level of our friendship, because I was just saying, like, we've never really, in all of our years of podcasting together, I've never seen where the other one lived.
Never.
And you came to my house.
The new house. I don't know if I should call it a house.
What else?
The grounds. What is the manor? This is, it is, let me just say, it is a beautiful home. It is so funny to see how people talk about things and then you see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you kept saying.
I feel like I've been talking about my new boyfriend for so long, and then you finally met him.
And I go, I get it. Like, because if anyone's listened to anything you've done and talked about the house and closing on the house and doing the house, you keep saying it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
You keep saying it's going to be a lot of work. It's expensive. It's a project. I didn't realize how much things cost. And then I got there and I go, all of those things, I would be saying the same thing. It's a beautiful home. I loved it. It has character.
Too much character. Yeah.
I guess let me help you explain it.
Yes.
Not that you need the help, but
I want to hear it from your outsider, because I've been looking at this house every day since, I looked at it for the first time. So
right.
I'd like to hear your
I would never come in a house and just be like, ooh, I'm going to have an opinion.
That's what everyone else does. So right. I was so excited to get you in there, because everyone else is like, oh, like and look at this.
Right. Ooh,
the fireplace.
Yeah,
so
look.
lovely.
What? There's plumbing.
Right.
I looked at it, and whoever owned it before you made artistic decisions that need to be undone.
Yes.
Like, made decisions that I feel bad for the former owner's friend,
who had to come in and be like, oh,
wow.
I love the Beauty and the Beast wax type sconces.
She has lights in this home that have fake drippings off of the lights that are meant to look like candles. There's a French theme. It looks like the Olive Garden in some rooms. It's crazy. This person has, and they might listen to this podcast. They might have like looked you up and they're like, oh, let me see what she says. It's horrific. And it's like I envy their confidence. They made every room, a decision was made. They've put a lot of money into it. A lot of money in some places, and then some places you're like, did you cheap out? You didn't want to do...
It does feel like that. It's interesting when you see, like, when you get to know a house, you kind of get to know, like, the ins and outs of the person who lived there.
Absolutely. Jordana's... I don't mean to get too personal with the listeners, but there's no walls around her toilet. It's just a toilet.
Yes, and they're now divorced. So that'll tell you something.
Right. Maybe we need walls in our home. Maybe we need our own space.
Yes. It's a very open plan. A little, and then it makes me think, were they like a naked house where everyone was just naked all the time?
And if they were like big, because they seem to have an interest in French culture.
Yes.
The French are known for sex everywhere, and your body's my body, whatever. Wine in the morning. I don't know. That's what I think of French people. Yeah. I looked at this but then you look at it on the whole, you go, this is an amazing home. The
structurally, it's like amazing. Yes.
It's going to be so much fun. You're going to have a fun house. I like it. And the grounds, it's not a yard.
It's a ground.
These are grounds that you are going to have like awesome summer days and nights. Like I was envious too, because like the neighborhood's great. I was actually going out to Long Island. On the way out there, I did the show Friday night. Thank you to everyone who came. Mm-hmm. It was the night.
It was amazing. By the way, just to talk about the show. This is before you got to the house. The show where it was raining, but everyone came.
People came, even though they DM me all day long.
Yeah, super annoying.
Yeah.
But, we were there. Everyone I left with, and again, if you're thinking about seeing a show in Jared's in your city, everyone who saw it was like, that was incredible. Was laughing the entire time.
Thank you.
Was like, loved the Netflix special, but this was even better.
I know it's better. I'm a better comic, but it's also more me. Like some jokes, again, everything on the special was true to my feelings.
It was very tight.
New stuff, and I'm telling a story. It's an hour-long story that kind of like comes together. So I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, if you're out there, and I would encourage people, and I want your feelings on this. I think bringing your family is fun.
There were a lot of people there, I think, with their parents, especially like it's like Long Island. So a lot of people, maybe their parents also live on Long Island as opposed to when you're in the city, and it's like a little harder to coordinate. So you did see a lot of people with their parents, and the parents and the kids were both looking at each other the whole time, like that's you,
right?
That's you, or like it just felt very relatable.
If some people, I guess it's people that are close to me. They're like, well, there's some people out there when they hear you do like say penis. They're like, well, we can't show anyone who you are. Like they get like weird. If you're weird around this material around your parents, I don't think you have a relationship at all.
Right.
I think like that would be my assumption. And then you would come on your
family therapy.
Right. Yes. Or just come alone, or come with your, significant other. But to jump on this before we get into more of the house, because I want to keep talking about this. See, Charlotte, I'm there all weekend. I got 5 shows. I haven't been to Charlotte since the pandemic, since I did a show outdoors in Charlotte.
Oh, wow.
On like in a parking lot.
Not
since the pandemic. So I'm back in Charlotte. Then Philadelphia. I added a second show. I took a chance.
Okay. Well, the first show must have sold pretty well for you to take a chance.
It was sold out.
Yeah.
And then maybe that was all the people in Philadelphia that were there. So we added a second show in Philly. Bring people, assemble the group chat. Syracuse, New York. I 3 shows there, DC, Baltimore, Dania Beach, Portland, Phoenix, San Diego, Boston, Chicago. JaredFree.com for tickets, JaredFree.com for tickets. Also 37 and single. And to go back to the show, it's a completely, I don't repeat one joke from the special.
Very different.
It's very different. If you like me on the special, you'll love the new stuff. If you're bringing someone, send them the special. Like, let them know, like, here's what he's like,
as their warm-up to you.
Right.
Yes.
Or if you've come to a show and you're just listening now, go watch the special. It's a different hour, and send it out to friends and family. So we go. I come to your house. So we have the night at the Paramount Theater in Long Island. All the people calling, the rain, whatever. And then I'm like, I'm gonna come to your house.
Yes, I wasn't sure if you were gonna come. I feel
really?
Because we were drunkenly talking about it,
right?
And then the next morning, I was like, Did he say yes? Because I asked him, or did he actually want to come?
Right.
So it was one of those situations, but it seemed like you were in, so I was excited.
Well, it's funny. I was excited too. And it's funny, we talk about relationships here. Friendship evolution.
Yes.
This felt like that.
Like the next level of our friendship. Yes,
right. Because we were hanging out.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't seen each other's homes.
Right. And I mean, if I brought you to my home, you'd be like, Jared, how are you living? What's going on here?
I mean, you had a similar sentiment about the bathroom, so it was like
the bathroom having no walls, the drip off the candle that was actually a light that doesn't drip was amazing.
It's a little cheesy. Yeah.
It was like you went and bought Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast stuff.
It makes you think you're like a little bit of an eccentric kind of person but it's like weird because you would think they were like artists or like bohemian or like something. I don't know. They were like
something.
They're lawyers. Right.
Well, I that's what I kept thinking. I was like, I need to meet this person. I have so many questions for them about how they decorate the home. And then there's some rooms that are blue and red and yellow, the colors and the wallpapers. But I will say that house, I kind of left there, the neighborhood it's in, unbelievable. Right. You drive down, because going out to Long Island, I do have this feeling of who would do this to themselves? Because
every compliment comes with a
very harsh
critique.
Well, I'm being honest.
No, it's true, yeah.
Because you think of Long Island people. When I moved here, my thought on Long Island people as a Bostonian, I didn't know what Long Island was.
You drove out to Long Island, right?
Drove out there. Yeah. So, you're fighting this traffic. When you move to New York City, you always meet these people and they're like, I've been commuting for 30 years
right. You're like,
from
why?
Huntington. And you're like, and they're curled up like a little ball. And you're like, get out of here. Go to the South. Go to Florida. Get out of here. Why are you doing this to yourself? And then you go to your area in town and the neighborhood, and you have this immediate, you get off the highway for 5 minutes and you go, I get it.
Right. It feels very different.
Very different.
A lot of nature. Right. And it's very soothing. And it's funny because, I saw this house. My friend Liza lives down the street. Mm-hmm. And I don't have necessarily an eye for stuff, which is why I'm a little overwhelmed with
Right. What do you do? What do you do first? There's a lot to do.
But she came with us to see this house, and she does have that eye.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, if you just have an imagination,
right,
this house is like going to be incredible.
I had the imagination. I left your house thinking like definitely some like envy, like I've been, you think about like, and again, to go back to like these towns outside of the major city, like I actually like thought about you and Mike's life. Like I when you see a home, you start imagining, oh, I see it. Like there's a neighborhood here for kids and a family.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing about going and looking is like you're emotionally masturbating this town.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did it. I'm sitting there whacking off in your driveway. Because I like you're minutes away from this Huntington area that's like a very cool, got a thing going, got the bagel shop, you got the wine, there's tons of restaurant options, there's bars, there's live music
playing. It's
like
a little mini city.
It's a mini city that like is, and you start to come to terms with your age. I was coming to terms with my age, going, ooh, I like this a little too much. It felt like a warm coat. I was like, oh, this is so comfortable. I would love to have a coat like this. And that is aging. That's not like, because in your 20s, you do yearn for the energy of other people and go get them and hustle culture. And then you get in your 30s and you go, yeah, I kind of want my little neighborhood in the city. And then you get to like, you get married and you hear, suburban life it was such a punchline for our generation. Mm-hmm. We made fun of it. We also were millennials specifically embarrassed by being from a suburb outside of a city. We kind of wanted to be
cool.
Cool, right? Yeah. We wanted to be
even
interesting.
Now, you still live in the city? Cool.
Right.
Not live in the city?
Loser.
Little less cool.
Yeah, less cool. But I kind of, and as someone, I tried not to like be embarrassed of I kind of like, I've said this here.
Having grown up in the suburbs.
And I came back to it and I was like, I should feel comfy here.
Right.
This is my life. This is what I come from. Yeah. So, as opposed to like, we all want to be Princess Diaries living in San Francisco. You go down your firefighter's pole, down to your kitchen, your cool mom with her kinky hair. And it's like, that ain't you. Right? You're a suburban fucking bitch. And that's great.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of like, when you start to look, you sort of like how, you get into that energy of like this other kind of lifestyle.
Right.
But I mean, I've talked about this on a benefits episode, if you want to hear more about it. Like there is a sense of like, there's the warmth and stability of being out there that's sort of juxtaposed with the idea of like, this is it.
The boringness.
Right. Like the city is like, again, to stereotype, like the city is like anything could happen.
Right.
Very exciting. We could go to a show in like the next 20 minutes. Like, life just has more possibilities.
Right.
But a little scary, I think.
Yeah.
And there's something about the suburbs that feels like relaxing, stable, safe, but a little bit, I did miss a little bit of that, like, you do feel like there's like a end of your youthfulness. Like I told you, the woman at the hair place asking me like, do you work? And I'm like, can you imagine someone in New York City asking anyone if they work? It'd be like, of course you work. How else would you survive here?
Right. I felt I understand fearing the boring.
Right.
I did look at where you are. Like, I think you did it right. That was my thinking. Right. Like, I think the house is like going to be fun and like have its excitements, and it's a project. Mm-hmm. It's both cool and a project at the same time. And then you also have this like nice little area that like the fact that there was like a band playing.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot.
Cool.
Like,
I'm saying that's why it's like the best of both worlds. There's like nature, it's serene, but there's also like a little bit of a town.
Yeah. I full stamp of J-Train approval. Not that you needed it, but I
like your
did
assessment
think a
because
lot.
everyone just, I like the both the like, this is going to be a project and this is, and it's great because that's how I feel about it too. It's like a little overwhelming,
right?
But it's exciting and
I understood why you were overwhelmed. Like right away I go, oh my God, I'm
every
overwhelmed.
Room is a different color.
Every room needs to be redone.
Yes.
Every room. And then I had an embarrassing moment. We had some bagels and I had to use the bathroom in such a way. Like it was like a full on, like I need to like go. And then I go, Mike, where's the bathroom? He goes, right here. And it was like right behind him.
Right by the kitchen?
Right by the kitchen.
Well,
I was
when
like,
we redo things, we're going to keep that in mind.
you keep it in
So you went to the other bathroom.
I went to the bathroom, went in there going, I'm not going to take a shit in the middle of the kitchen.
Right.
So then I came out sweating, and then I was like, I have to go again. 2 minutes late, I just like left.
Right. But it's funny now, like I think you put that in Mike's head. Now he feels the same way. And now I'll be like, where do you go? And he'd be like, I was in the Jared bathroom. It's now the Jared bathroom of our house.
Wow. I make my reputation clear very quickly in people's homes.
No, I think it's great.
The Jared bathroom. It's a good bathroom.
Everything else has a name because all the rooms are so painted so fucking crazy. So it's like the yellow room, the green room, the red room, and now we have the bathrooms have a name.
I am gonna make up a plaque. So
the
Jared.
Jared is officially christened the bathroom. Yeah.
Exactly. Jared was here.
Yeah, but it was so great to have you out there and have you like. It felt like oh. Now you understand like a little bit more about me. You see someone where someone lives, and I think it becomes a different level.
Well, I totally agree. I had this like weird, warm feeling of like, oh, I could see like, you know, a future of like we get old and you and Mike and there's like a whole thing, and then I'm there alone.
No, we've got our bed set up for you.
I'm ready.
We're ready. Anytime you happen to be an hour outside of the city on Long Island, you've got a place to stay.
Well, listen, if I could go back to the Paramount, I would say that show, that
great
theater,
venue.
great venue, fun. If you have a chance to go see any show there, you should go. Like that's again, we're in Plug City. It was like I genuinely had like a really wonderful
fun time.
Yeah.
No, it was great. If you're on Long Island, go to the Paramount. But
absolutely.
And if you're in any of the cities that Jared is going to, again, everyone nonstop laughter, literally the beginning until it ended, myself included. I hadn't seen the set. It was great. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if you were delusional, if you were saying it was like tighter and better, but like I saw for myself, like with my own ears, and you were incredible. You're really like you're at a new level.
Thank you. I feel that. I think the special gave me a different confidence to be able to do material that is it's all true stories. You know, like that's the fun part is like I talk a lot about my parents, and people are like, "Do your parents know?" I'm like, yeah, they're all true stories. I'm not making something up. This is what happened.
Are they offended?
Right. It's like, what are they offended by them being them?
They are, right? Yeah.
Right.
The question is more offensive than that, I guess, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But what else is going on with you? We got oversharing. I just listened to the last episode. It was great.
Thank you. The one with the Taylor Swift tickets.
It was the Taylor Swift tickets. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the Triggered segment.
Yeah.
Because there was the one where you had to tell the. There was one with the mother-in-law being like, "You're sick."
Oh yeah, you should go sleep on the cot. On the air mattress. Yeah.
On the air mattress. It's just so funny to hear. You know, I do think in my life, I have people in my life where you go, and I do this with you, like. Am I crazy?
Am I the crazy one?
Right.
Yeah.
And it feels like that podcast, like your podcast has become a little bit like, that's what it is.
Right. It's
and then
like,
a professional. And then, you're cracking wise, like it's a fun show.
It's a good time. There's two, if you're a subscriber, there's 2 meditations out. Listen to them, feel your feelings, medical anxiety. I think people are going to love those 2. And we release 2 new ones every month. So if you already listen, you want to subscribe, check it out. Also ad free.
Do we have a subscription for all the Betches shows? Is there like an all-in now?
Not yet.
Well, I got a lot of good feedback from the You Up with Benefits.
Yeah. That was a great episode.
It's fun. I got feedback from my mom. She was like, she got mad.
Real? Oh, she's a subscriber.
I didn't know. I just found out.
That's how you find out when you piss people off that they're subscribers.
Right. You find out very quickly. I found out that it comes out Sunday. I didn't even know.
She didn't like that you told that story?
She goes, I feel so bad. And I'm like, and the thing is, when I talk with you on a benefits thing, I kind of do feel, we say this at the end, I'm like, I feel better.
Right.
Like it's out there, and I kind of move on from it. Like I'm just like, that's something that happened. I'm not holding a grudge. Yeah. Like, so... And again, I don't think it was worth discussing, this idea of boundaries and scheduling your life and the things that I'm dealing with personally. So, yeah.
Well, it's almost nice because she probably could hear what you thought about it without you having to tell her to her face.
I wouldn't have. Then my dad wasn't as accepting of it. My dad was like, "It sounds like you should drink less." I'm like, that's a fun way to tell me that. Yeah. So
anyway, if you don't know what
benefits.
we're talking about, listen to You Up with Benefits. If you want to try it out, there's a 7-day free trial.
What is
get
it?
it ad-free.
$5 a month.
Yeah, ad-free, day early. And you get these bonus episodes where we reveal information that makes our parents angry at us.
Which is what's better than that, getting to hear other people's problems.
Yeah.
Also, we have some dating news.
Oh, yes.
I kind of wanted to get your opinion on
feature.
this. There's a new feature on Bumble.
Can you summarize the new feature?
So it is called Bumble Speed Date. I love it. How to play Bumble's speed dating game. When life gets busy, and this is from Bumble's site, not sponsored, just this is what it is. When life gets busy and there are a million things on your mind, it can be hard to prioritize dating and to set time aside to get to know new people. That's where Bumble's speed dating game comes in. This new game within the Bumble app is live every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in your time zone. It gives you the chance to be paired at random with a fellow dater who you can chat to for up to 3 minutes before moving on to the next person, just like speed dating IRL. This means you can get straight to the chat and have conversations in real time. The twist, you won't be able to see what your speed dating match looks like or their Bumble profile while you're messaging. Putting conversation first can lead you to exciting new connections with folks who may not have caught your eye otherwise. But don't worry, the daters you'll be paired with will all match your gender and age preferences, and they'll be playing in the same city or town as you. They also won't be people you've interacted with before on Bumble. Read on to find out more about how speed dating works, how to sign up, and a few tips on getting the banter flowing. I just love this.
Okay.
I think
I didn't. When you sent it to me, I didn't read all the way through, so
Okay.
I just thought speed dating. But this is
on the app speed dating,
right,
and it's virtually, so you're in the comfy cozies of your own couch.
Yes.
And 3 minutes, and go ahead. What do you think?
I like the idea of speed dating 3 minutes. I think it's great. I don't like that you can't see the person. I don't like this thing where it's like because it feels like it's almost like we're trying to shame you out of your what you're attracted to thing.
Right.
And I think that's such a big part of it. You can't like to say like, oh, we're trying to get you to like, this isn't Love is Blind. Like fall in love with someone without seeing them.
I agree with you. I do think they give you the opportunity to see them. I think that after you talk or you say, I think it goes in, and I've always said this about dating apps. I think it would be a great feature to like swipe parts of their profile. So like, I'm not sure, again, I could read on, but so it says, you'll only see each other's player's name and age while you're chatting, and at the end of the 3 minutes, the chat will automatically end. Then you'll be shown a photo of the person you were talking to, and you'll be asked if you enjoyed your conversation. Click the tick for yes and the cross for no. Once you've made your decision, you'll be asked if you'd like to be connected with someone new. If you choose to keep playing, you'll be paired with another player, and the 3 minutes will begin again. If you liked anyone while playing, we'll let you know that it's a match at the end of the night. So you do get to look, you have the conversation first, and then you see them after, and then so this is all like removed from one another.
I would tweak this if I were them.
Of course.
Here's what I would do. I would do when you're swiping, right? Let's say you both have already matched on swiping. There's an additional option to do the speed dating with the person. And then you can set a bunch of them
first, and then you can meet tonight at 7.
Yeah, I think it'll just like be more efficient that way. Like, let me pick 6 people that I'm attracted to and who are attracted enough to me to agree to spend 3 minutes speaking to me.
Right.
Because like, I just think that's such a big part of it. I don't really want to speak to someone that I might not be attracted to because that is important first.
I'm with you. I don't like the shaming of like having
a physical preference,
which you should absolutely be allowed to have, and it's a huge part of it. I don't think people go on the date with people that they're not attracted to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I like
could see themselves being.
But I think the speed dating thing is a great idea. Like, let's just narrow it down to people we both mutually already find ourselves attracted to.
Right.
Let's say we've matched, then both people can opt into this Monday night at 7 speed dating thing.
Right.
And you have your whole list of people that have opted in with, and then that's just such a more efficient.
I just think it's efficient. Also, it's an evolution. Like we sit here going, I hate dating apps. Well, okay. How could we fix them? I do believe what Bumble's doing. Like, I do think you know if you want to go on a date with someone within 20 minutes of talking on the app.
Yeah.
Whether you want to believe that or not, I need more time. The people from the extremes always chime in right now.
It's a good vibe or a bad vibe.
Right. 20 minutes.
Or a average vibe, and it's a no.
Right. If after 20 minutes you don't know if you want to go on a date with them or not, you have other intentions, or you're not that really enthused.
Yeah.
And again, mediocre dates. I think dates you're not excited for generally not going to end up being the one.
I agree.
So this is to put a little fire up your ass to go talk, decision.
Yeah.
And I think this helps the laziness of men, because that's kind of, I think a lot of men become lazy on these apps. And it helps you from a lot of women that write in here. They want love me or behead me.
Yes. Which is perfect for this.
This is what this is.
Or it also just makes someone make a move. Like,
right.
3 minutes. If you're not interested enough to talk to me for 3 minutes, then what is it gonna? You know what I mean? You're never gonna ask me on a real date either.
The only reason I know about this is someone wrote into my other podcast, J Train, with saying that they're doing this, and they were looking for options on what to talk about, because 3 minutes is so short. You don't want to waste on how was your weekend.
Right.
So I thought that was an interesting question. What would you want to be asked? I have a couple ideas. I have 2 ideas that are food related.
Don't you feel like it would be person specific? Like something in their profile that maybe you want to ask
But if you don't see a profile.
But I think you should. That's the thing. That my twist.
Sure.
You're seeing a profile and you can pick one of those topics.
Fair.
Right.
But you'd have to think about it pretty quick because you have 3 minutes.
No, but you've matched with
you've
it
matched
throughout
already.
the week. You've matched with them.
I think that would actually make you, seeing the profile would lull you into complacency. I think because you don't see the profile and you have nothing to go on.
Okay.
It's a little bit better to make the conversation fun and a little more jokey.
Well, what's your go-to conversation when you sit down for a date with a stranger?
I guess you started, how was the day? What's going on? How'd you end up here?
Maybe that'll lead to something, right?
I think on this, though, if you had nothing, started out, where's the last place you went out to dinner? And what did you think?
Okay. There you go.
And what did you order? That's what I would want to hear. Because it's like a fun, you're talking about, and then someone says, I don't remember. Okay, well, get the fuck out. Done.
Okay.
You're not even trying.
Then you press the next button, like on the game show.
Right.
Next.
I'm Gwen Stefani. Or not Gwen Stefani. Simon Cowell on the
it's
the
a no
X Factor.
for me, dog. Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, that's
Randy Jackson.
Sorry.
No, but I'm saying
horrible, hated it.
Hey,
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All mine are food related because I don't know. I think food is a good way to get.
Well, that's what's important to you
Right.
also. So I think it's that would find you a match on that same page.
You go for Chinese food. Give me your soup, appetizer, main.
I like that. I've heard last meal.
Last meal, fun.
You got appetizer, main, dessert.
Love that.
What is your last meal?
Let's hear it.
For me?
Yeah. What's yours?
You're asking?
Sure.
It was it was a really good chicken noodle soup. This sounds crazy.
Wow.
Macaroni and cheese.
Chicken noodle soup, didn't see it coming.
And a warm chocolate chip cookie. I like dairy.
Well, you don't have to worry about taking a shit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And
you're dying.
no calories.
Yeah.
No, uncomfortable feeling, bloat.
Appetizer, main,
Dessert.
Dessert.
That's a good icebreaker. Yeah,
I think I'm going.
Last meal.
Last meal. Appetizer is so important. Okay, I'm gonna have a bacon, egg, and cheese appetizer
Interesting appetizer. Okay.
on an everything bagel toast.
It's your last meal.
It's my last meal. I'm gonna have pork fried rice as a meal.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to have no dessert.
No dessert.
I don't need the sweets. I'm okay.
Really?
I'm going to exchange
You're about
another savory. I'm going to go
double app. Double main.
Double main. Well, now I've pushed it all back.
Okay.
So I go bacon, egg, and cheese, everything bagel, toasted. I go pork fried rice on that main, but then get rid of the dessert. And I'm going to add in, I guess I would add in, right? I don't know why this is coming to mind because it's not something I yearn for. Just a really good cheeseburger.
Okay.
Like a,
But that's not something you'd order normally.
I would, but
Okay.
I don't know why it feels very last meal to me.
Okay. Very meaty.
I'm a meaty guy.
Right. Meaty meaty last meal.
Meaty freed.
If you're about to die, you're taking 6 animals with you.
That's right. We're all going down. No, I wanted to talk about that with you because I just think, like, again, we are here as a informational podcast as much as a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Oh no, but we're here for dating fun. I think that
And
is
advice,
change it up.
I like it a lot. Again, I have some tweaks.
Sure,
Because I also just
Bumble's
think
tweaking.
I just think it's like uncomfortable to put people in a position of like you
You're
have a
both in
good
the
conversation,
position.
then you're not attracted, and then you have to feel bad about not being attracted. But like if you're not,
Right.
you're attracted or you're not, and I think that's sort of like you need that.
Right. I guess you don't hear back. It's not like they like you go through the conversation. I guess you both know when it's a good conversation. You're like, oh, I guess you weren't attracted to me. But I do think a big theme of the beginning of 37 and Single on Netflix right now is that, the difference between meeting someone in real life and meeting someone over an app and how you judge them.
Yeah.
And I think what this will help with, and we have an email about this today, or is it for the Sunday special? Just the idea of like what's in the head trash that's in your way.
Right.
I think this gets rid of like, oh, Hoboken. Oh, they're not
Right.
directly on the corner of my street. Oh, they like.
It's a good middle ground for a
little bit.
first date.
I just
And
think
you
we're
get to go
heading
on a
more
lot of
towards
them
a
at one
better
time.
right. And we're heading more towards how do we make the online experience the same as meeting in a bar or
Right.
closer to.
Yeah.
I think this is a step in that direction.
I agree. And then you only have to do your hair once for like 6 dates.
There you go.
If they let you see the person, which I think they should let you do.
Right. And what a fun, what is it, Thursday at 7?
Whatever the time is. Yeah.
What are you doing? All right, let's get to the emails. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about backing out of a date. That
Okay.
seems like, right? Or a situation.
It seems like more of
Yeah,
a situation.
rather. Yeah. Well, I'll read it.
Let's
We'll get
hear
into
it.
Okay. Hi, J&J. Love listening to the podcast. There's such a great energy between you both, and it makes figuring out dating fun. Here's my question. I met a guy who frequently comes to my place of employment. We are both 50. He friend followed me. I followed back, and he would occasionally respond to my story. 10 days ago, he DM'd me, and we had good banter. He asked for my number. I obliged, and we continued the conversation over text. The texts were great the first few days. Then I started noticing some things that were giving me the ick and a couple that made me uncomfortable. Like he was moving too fast when we hadn't even met. There's an overabundance of compliments towards me and done so in a way that makes me feel he's just saying what somebody in high school told him women like to hear. I mean, a compliment is nice, but still. He also would send selfies and say how he's old, fat, and bald. He's not. And he was fishing for a compliment back. I couldn't give it though. I just kept responding, "Oh, stop it, LOL," because I could hear in my head because all I could hear in my head was Jared's voice in my ear screaming, "Ick." How many women have heard that in their heads from you?
You can turn that into a ringtone.
Okay.
Ick! That's me.
There you go. He then started sharing how his parents died a couple of years back and how his
Oy.
mom would love me and that I remind him of her.
Ugh.
He vents about his day at work and says how talking to me makes the whole day better. I almost feel as if he's treating me as if we were an old married couple, yet he hasn't even asked me out. There have been a couple of we should sometimes, but no actual plan. Oh, and one more thing that may seem insignificant, but through the course of the text, I've discovered he has not been completely honest. In the beginning, he said he goes to bed from 10 or 10:30. Yesterday, he mentioned how he's up until almost 1 most nights for a while now because he has a hard time falling asleep. I wanted to call him on it, but then I thought I was being ridiculous. But that's also part of what makes me feel like he's just taking things I say and do and making it seem like he does them too. Up until day 6, I was hoping he would ask me out, my preference, or prepare to I suggest it myself. I'm really not feeling it. My responses have gotten shorter, and I've never engaged in the emotional oversharing. I try to keep things light. I guess I've learned why they say don't text too much before the first date. Is there a way to get out of this gracefully? Is block and ignore an option since he never even tried for a date? I may still have to see him occasionally through work, though. Thanks for all you do. Signed, why do I feel like the man in this relationship?
I appreciate the email. It is funny to hear, everyone's going through it.
Yeah.
This is two 50-year-olds.
Doesn't matter what age you are, where you live.
This podcast is for
status,
everybody. Yeah, like everything. Love is universal. That's right. We're gonna make that T-shirt. So
love is universal. That doesn't sound like something that we would make.
Nobody would make that.
Love is universal. Okay.
Who would even think? It's the issue here is guy who frequents my work. This to me is an easy thing.
Right.
It is, and over text, it is just easier to be someone you'd like to be or to write the script for yourself. It doesn't matter if 50 or not. That's what we do.
Right.
And this guy's writing, my mom would love you. I understand, and I hate when people do this. They make it like, they make their story so sad, or they make it so much more than it actually is with words. They end up like, again, the people pleaser in me goes, how am I going to let this person down when you don't owe them anything?
Right. And they're sort of creating a false sense of like connection by trying to say these things to you. So you feel like you're like in deeper than you haven't actually even met yet.
Right.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, why would a guy who's 50, by the time you're 50, wouldn't you realize that this is just like a weird way to interact with people?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Texting is
men
the
learn
same,
anything?
But texting is the same age to all of us.
Okay.
It's not. This guy hasn't been texting since he's been 3 years old.
Right.
He's been texting since I've been texting.
Yeah.
So I would assume we're at the same kind of...
You wouldn't do this either, though.
I wouldn't do this. I would know. I think I would want to know better. But listen, I would do this. This guy's either lonely or horny or both. You know, that's what it feels like, because he's getting sexual. He's getting into compliment land. He's never gone on a date with her. Like... something he doesn't want, and they met it through the work and through a friend request. She called it. What did she call it? It sounded like she was 800 years old.
Right. He friend followed me.
What the fuck is that?
I followed back.
Right. I don't know what
and
the
fuck.
And
you would occasionally respond to my story. Old people are putting up stories.
So Instagram, yeah, she's putting up stories.
Like we're saying, old people are like 10 years older than us.
We went to high school together. Yeah. It's not. She just sounds elderly because of the way she's framed this. But like you go. Like,
yeah, it's funny, like what she says about like the texting and like too much texting before the date. It's like you're really, the more you have, the more you have to be turned off by. Right. And in this case, like if she had just met him and gone out, she might have actually liked him.
But this goes back to our conversation about the dating apps. If it doesn't happen in 20 minutes, then what's the deal here?
Right. And
what's going on?
I agree. And I mean, she said they work together. I would just text him.
They don't work together. No.
Oh.
Very important. That's why this isn't like she can't really ghost. He says, here's my,
comes to my place of employment.
So we don't know. That's annoying.
Right. But I think there's a workaround. I think she says, like, I think I wouldn't ghost then.
No, you can't.
I would say, hey, we've been talking for a while. I'm just not really feeling like this is a romantic connection for me. It's been great getting to know you. I'm sure I'll see you around.
Right. I totally agree with that text.
And
that you have to do that. And then also, like, let people know at work. There's another, like, again, this is an extreme situation, but it's a situation.
Yeah, you never know.
You don't know. He comes to your work. He's texting like crazy. I just don't know what else is up. So it's either, because based on this email, it's either he has another relationship. Okay. He is 50. Everyone's got a history. There's got to be a reason he's not. He's not shy. I don't believe in shy.
Right. Maybe he's not actually interested, though. He just wants the kind of like I feel like a lot of men do that, where they just kind of want the attention.
Right. Again, lonely, or he wants to make sure he can fuck before you guys go out. Lonely or horny, or family.
Second
and a wife.
Family. Right.
Second family.
Right.
So one of those
family.
is the options. Do you want to go on a date with any of those three?
Probably
this is the thing. Probably not. So let's make it. I'm trying to I think what we do well here is be like, hey, listen, this is your decision, not his.
Right.
The idea that he hasn't asked me out yet. Okay. Are you attracted to a guy that won't ask you out?
Well, that's what she said. By day 6, I was kind of like out.
Right.
So good for you.
So now you need to break up with him. And I know because it's texting, we don't give it the juice it deserves. Mm-hmm. This deserves juice. You've interacted with this person. You have decided you don't like him. Hey, and just like you said, your text is perfect.
Been thinking about it. Not really feeling a romantic connection.
I don't want to text with someone I don't really know.
Yeah.
That I'm not pursuing.
I'm sure I'll see you around.
Boom. Let's do some awkward sex. UUP@betches.com, UUP@betches.com. Keep sending your awkward sex stories. This one's fun.
Yes.
Hello,
Variation
Jay.
on an old but goodie.
We've seen this a little bit before. Hello, J&J. This is how I learned the hard way not to have sex with my ex after my first boyfriend of 2 years and I broke up. We tried the whole stay friends thing a little too soon. One night I was hanging out at his place when he was making me dinner. It was a spicy pasta, and he was chopping up some chili peppers for the dish. I knew immediately where this was going.
Anything with hot peppers,
you know where it's headed.
And awkward sex is the writing's on the wall.
I mean, that shows we're professionals. We're experts
right.
at this point.
Exactly.
We enjoyed dinner, and eventually things started heating up. So we take it to the bedroom. He had washed his hands, but apparently the capsaicin...
How do you pronounce this word? Capsaicin?
Capsaicin?
Okay.
From the hot pepper was still left on his hands. After about 30 seconds of fingering, that's the 30 seconds of fingering is like 30 seconds to Mars. After 30 seconds of fingering, I feel a hell-like hot fire burning from my pussy. That's their new song. Hell-like hot fire burning from my pussy.
That's a ballad.
Right. Hell like hot fire burning from my pussy.
And the next line's poetic too.
As if Satan himself had fingered me. That's a good one.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Yeah. That's what she wrote. As if Satan himself had fingered me. It felt like fire ants crawling up my pussy. Fire ants crawling up my pussy and building a colony right up my cervix now.
Oh my God.
I added right up my cervix now.
Right up my cervix now. That's a
yeah.
That's
new T-shirt right next to
the
Love
album.
Is Universal.
Right up my cervix.
I start panicking and yelling, "It burns! It burns!" And he starts freaking out too. I like that he's freaking out. What? Ah! Your pussy's hot. Go get milk and paper towel. I whimpered to him urgently.
She wrote paper towel, not paper towels. I wonder if she did say the individual and one paper towel and paper towel.
It does sound like she's experienced in this,
right?
Go get milk and paper towel.
I don't think I would know what to do immediately. I did.
Yeah, the milk thing,
I've heard maybe of that. I think
I've heard that for wings. You drink it.
Right. They say the first instinct is water, but that's actually not good. Right.
How do you dip your pussy in milk?
That's a good question. A sponge?
Like a cat lapping up?
I guess you soak the paper towel.
With the milk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I'm a stupid man. I'd be sitting there dipping my balls in milk.
Opening in the canister.
Yeah,
in the gallon.
I cut the top off.
Jared, what are you doing?
Doing like a tea bag situation.
This is not a man who's handy.
No. Call the plumber, please. Like I'd be asking. I would have. That's how helpless I am.
Just pour it on my head. It'll eventually drip on there.
I whimper to him urgently, tears starting to fall. He quickly retrieves the cure to my spicy vagina. That's a spicy vagina. Doesn't that make you think it's spicy vagina?
That's a good shirt too.
That's a spicy vagina. Hey. That's what the Paramount. Huntington felt like all these Italian people were going to be out their windows. That's a spicy vagina.
That's all of Long Island.
It felt very Long Island, yeah. I dipped the paper towel in the bowl of milk. Oh, okay. Taking notes. And placed it on the exterior of my vagina to cool down the burn. And it worked to relieve me of the pain. That was the first and last time I ever tried to have sex with an ex. I don't know if one has to do with the other.
Right. It seems a little coincidental.
Right. We did stay friends after that. And thankfully, we're both permanently turned off from the hot pepper incident. Well, speak for yourself.
You think you'd be into it? You'd still do it?
Listen, all of these sexual experiences, you go, I'm hard? You don't know.
Well, would you take the chance that your penis would get all...
Absolutely not. I'm not, but you go through something, sign too hot to handle. Great email.
Yeah, heard something along... It's a big warning.
Yeah.
You can't be making cutting jalapeno peppers and then fingering anyone.
I think everyone learns that in one way or another, and some people it's
usually
through
with my
sexual.
eye.
Yeah, eye.
Yeah.
That's how you. I'm happy I learned that way.
Yeah, you put your hand in your eye and it burns.
Right.
Like lemon juice too.
It's the worst, and it like ruins the night. You're out for an hour.
And you also look like it's not a hot thing
Not
to
hot
be
at
like
all.
screaming in pain from that. Like especially even when it's in your eye, you're like, oh.
It's the Seinfeld good naked, bad naked.
Yeah.
You know, like naked with spicy vagina is probably not a great look.
Not good.
I don't know. What did you call it?
I call it burned by an ex.
I like that. Candace had the last dab.
I like that.
I had that's a spicy vagina.
That's
That
great.
one.
We'll put that on a shirt.
The Devil's Touch.
Oh, that's good.
Hot Poker. Fire Crotch.
Okay.
That's a spicy pussy.
That's the winner.
That's the winner?
Yeah.
Hot vagina, like hot potato.
Hot potato.
Spicy capricol.
Okay.
That's a stretch. Lava labia.
Lava labia.
Fire down below.
Now that we know what labia is.
Now that we've learned.
Yeah.
The basement's on fire.
Okay.
That's,
Wow, you had a lot this time. You did your homework.
I was doing a little bit of writing.
Impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's do another email.
Let's do it.
Okay. Dear Jane.
Go ahead.
UUP at Betches.com.
Yes.
UUP at Betches.com.
Just to remind people, I get DMs still. What's the email?
That's crazy. I feel like it's fully ingrained in people's heads.
Right. UUP at Betches.com. And send them in. We love these emails.
Send it in. All right. Let me do another email. Dear J&J, big fan of the podcast. I listen every week, and I wanted to say how much I appreciate your easy-to-follow advice and your lighthearted approach to dating.
I've been getting that compliment a lot in these streets.
Easy-to-follow advice.
Easy
Go to the football bar.
Oh,
Saw that
email. Did you see the football bar working?
Yeah, working magic.
It just shows a little. I know this sounds annoying. Positivity. Don't hear these ideas and go, if your first response to, hey, here's what I'm saying. Football Sundays, people are at a bar during daylight hours and they're not fucking wasted.
Yeah.
That's who you want to meet.
That's the best place to meet someone. Someone who's having fun. They're
Right.
not blacked out. And they're there for a different reason.
And they're there with friends.
Yes.
You're seeing them as they truly are and not on a dating app, not in the cover of night. I have been out in the West Village watching football the last few weeks. It is, I think people are listening and taking,
You've seen all the betches out?
so many betches. I was out, I was with some friends, and I was just like, there was just groups of women hanging. They weren't watching the game. They're just
Right.
having fun. And guys, literally, I'm just watching guys come up to them like moths to a flame.
Right.
And it was like, I'm like, it's working.
Best place to be.
I went up to the group. I go, it's working. And
they
they're
were
like,
like,
who are you? All right, let's go
All
for
right.
it.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 3 months, and we do really fun things together. We go out on cool dates, have been to several concerts together. Even recently, he met my friends at an Oktoberfest.
Ooh.
I like how she wrote-
Lederhosen.
An Oktoberfest, not the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
A beer garden.
Okay.
That's what we call that in other parts of the world.
really romanticized this
Right.
shitty bar she went to with a fucking boot to drink from.
Seriously. I love that we do really cool things, but I wish we had some more unstructured hangout time to really get to know each other better. 2 weekends in a row, I've slept over on a Friday and asked if he wanted to just hang out and watch football. I've asked if he wants to just chill and make dinner on a weekday. In both situations, he said he was tired and just wanted to chill. How do I tell him that spending time together when we don't really have any plans is important to me? How do I ask to hang out more without sounding needy? Excited to hear what you think. Sincerely, a betch who actually wants to Netflix and chill.
This is a tough one because every relationship, no matter where you're at, you're transitioning into the next part of the
Right.
relationship. So what she's really asking is, how do I make this more real than it was yesterday?
Right. It's interesting because some people, have the opposite issue where they're like,
Oh, we do. Yeah.
he just, he doesn't want to do anything. I just come over and we sleep together and like we sit there.
We just lay on each other like two cats.
But I
Yeah.
agree. Once you get to a certain point in the relationship, that's most of the hangouts is like just hanging out.
Right. And that's when it becomes more real. Where, and if you're looking for the quote unquote normal, we move in together, we get married,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Like, it does have to go in order.
Right.
You know, you do have to go from like, we do these cool things together. Then we started like hanging on the couch, and then we incorporated some lesser cool things, but we do them still. And then we moved in together, you know, like there's a line of events.
Right. It's kind of like almost with like a friendship. Like, you know, there's people you like, and maybe this is more when you're younger, but like there's people you go out with, and there's people you would actually like hang out with sober.
Right. I used to call it when I people would be like, do you know someone? I would be like, we went to the same party, different car.
Right.
So when you go to a party in high school, you'd have like the same car every time, pretty much similar.
Yeah.
You know, everyone had a seat. You had your close 4 or 5
Your
friends.
crew, yeah.
Your crew. There were also other people at the party, but you never went in a car with them.
Right. But
And
you'd see them and chat, but
Right.
you're not going to.
maybe you'd hang out once in a while, but they're not in your car to the party.
Right.
And what she's trying to do is to get from person I see out to person I share a car with.
Right.
And I do think this is an issue. Like, I think he's like kind of telling you when you say, hey, do you want to watch football today? And he's like, I'd rather chill. And you're like,
I'd rather watch it alone. That means I'd rather watch it alone.
Right. And I do understand. Let me just give, you know, from a perspective of wanting my alone time.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. You know, you do. I kind of respect this guy's honesty to be like
saying no twice.
To be like, no, I got things going on today that I have already planned, and they don't involve you. There's a certain boundary in that, but
Right.
I think she has a boundary too, where it's like, I want to be hanging out with someone I'm getting to know, and it feels like we have got to know each other in these cool events that are great, but we haven't gotten to know each other on a more personal level that is behind closed doors and
Right.
intimate.
Yeah, because that is what she's asking for, is more intimacy.
Right.
When you're asking to hang out during the day, it's sort of like you're asking for unstructured times when like you get comfortable with each other.
Right.
She's asking for more comfort.
Right. So how would you do this?
I mean, it sounds like she started off on the right foot by just asking him if I would maybe ask him one more time just to build my case.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he said no to like hanging out during the week or just you coming over and hanging out, I would say, I would call it out. I'd say like, it seems like you only really want to like see each other when we're out, but I'd like to like kind of just like hang out and just chill and spend the day with you. That is like, that not something you're looking for?
And to go kind of down I'm not trying
Mm-hmm.
to like make her feel anxious, but like he's scheduling you.
Right.
You know, so who else is he scheduling? Is he scheduling other things, other dates? Is he not a boyfriend, as you describe him? Is he a schedule boyfriend as opposed to an actual...
Right. Because there's a difference between like you're a fixture in my life and you're someone I see on Friday nights.
Right. Right.
And I think that's what she's trying to like get down to. Is like, I want to be like part of the life, not like a thing that you do on a certain night of the week.
Right. And is it not relaxing to sit with me on the couch? And again, like sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
I'm going to give her like...
I think it's okay to like,
right.
for people to like their alone time, but I think it's kind of like if he's not suggesting a different time for you to do that.
Right. Well, like when I watch football, I want to like if I want to be around someone, I want to be around someone that's never going to say to me, you're on your phone again? I never, like, to hear that during a football game. A football game is literally phone, TV, phone, TV, phone, TV. That's all and eat and drink. And,
maybe I wouldn't go with football then if I were her.
Right.
As the suggested activity.
Right. Make it a home game instead of an away game.
Mm-hmm.
I think like maybe that's the solution where it's like, hey, he's like, let's do dinner on Tuesday. And you go, you know what? I would love for you to just come over. I'm going to like be hanging and watching TV. You want to just do that?
Yeah.
And maybe
pick a show you both like.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe you start a show together.
Right. If I were you, next time you want to go over on a Friday night, you guys go to Oktoberfest, you go back to his place. Next day, you just don't leave.
Just, camp out.
Just see how long you can go.
Just
Has that ever
right.
happened where someone just stays and then you're kind of like,
I have been that guy.
What do you say to get someone out?
I'm bad at this.
You spend the whole weekend with them. You don't say anything.
We live together now. Yeah, no, I'm bad at this because I've learned this as I gotten older that like I'm just like not good at like I'll right. So what are you doing today?
Well, that's why it's better to go to someone. So if you're the person who usually doesn't want to hang out in
Right.
the day, it's usually better to go to their place, and then it's much easier to leave than to tell someone to leave.
I totally agree. That's why maybe it'll make him feel more comfortable that he can like get going when he wants to get going.
Right. To come
Come to
here.
her. But I agree with you. I've done that where I've just like hung out and been like, I guess,
Right.
what are you doing today? I got nothing. I don't know. That's what she's hoping for. It's
Yeah.
like, I got nothing. We want to hang. But I've had that, I've had it both ways. I've been the guy who stayed because I was having a good
Right.
time, and it kind of looked like I wanted more because of that.
Yeah.
Which was like, that's a dangerous thing. And maybe what he's trying to avoid, like he's trying to like, again, schedule you so that he can make the decision on his time. When you say, oh yeah, stay for football, it is, again, he's avoiding intimacy.
Yeah. It's funny how the beginning of a relationship is a little bit of that little dance of like, do you want me to, do you want to get brunch? Or
Right.
do you actually want to? Or are you just going to say yes? Because someone has to suggest it and the other person has to be like, there's no real way to tell if someone's like fully into the morning breakfast or not.
Right. You can't tell because
Yeah.
someone might be just being nice.
Right.
Someone might be just because they don't want to feel uncomfortable saying no. And they go, I got to eat.
And I think guys do this a lot where they think of themselves as like the good guy who's like getting breakfast. He's not just sleeping with you.
Right.
He's also getting breakfast.
I am that guy. I can speak from experience. I've
Right.
done that before.
When
But
it's actually kind of worse, if you're not interested, it's actually kind of worse because then you're like, well, he stayed for breakfast. So he likes me enough to hang out with me sober.
the amount of women who have written to this show being like, he stayed over and he didn't spit on me and call me a whore.
No, but
And
there
you're
is
like,
a thing of like,
they're like, he must like me. I just expected him to toss me aside like one of his traps. It's like, no.
you know why we say that? Because like that's what I would do if I didn't like someone. I wouldn't get breakfast with them, but I also wouldn't
Right.
sleep with them probably.
Right. But
That's the difference.
There's an
Yeah.
in between.
Right.
There's sleeping with someone and then going, this was a lot of fun. You got my number. Text me when.
Well, you could say that, and then I think that would give the person less false hope.
Fair. And then, I mean, this guy,
Yeah. He's not
to
he's
the
not
other
giving
s-
any false hope.
he's
Yeah.
giving no hope.
Right.
That's why she's writing to us.
Yeah, well, that's why I think she should. But this is her boyfriend, so
Supposedly.
she says. We're the worst.
Right.
She says this is, and I think you could say like, in a and I think it's about setting her in a relationship. I like to just kind of like casually hang out with people and just like
Right.
spend the day together and like have no real intense plans and just loosely like get to know each other.
Right.
This is what I like to do in a relationship. What do you like to be like in a relationship?
I like to
saying
not
she should ask
see
him.
you. Yeah,
Right,
yeah. No, but that might be his
Yeah.
response. But
Maybe
You
you
know-
might be like, I like seeing the person a couple nights a week and then having my alone time the rest. And then you can decide, is that something that you're okay with?
right, it's okay to go, well, that's unattractive to me.
Right.
I think she has to be okay with that because she's asking us to be like, because she thinks she's asking for something that's like not a big deal.
No,
This
it
is a big
yeah,
deal.
for sure.
So
Well, it's like moving forward.
let's play some games. You ready?
Let's do it.
The old standby, red flag or deal breaker. We're
Our
back.
fave. Okay.
And to remind people of the rules, you're dating someone, one thing happens. It's either a red flag, you notice it, but you move on, or it's a deal breaker, you end it right away.
We're out.
And we love real ones. These are 3
Real ones.
real ones.
Great ones. All right. You want to read the first one?
Yes. Your date asked the waiter for the table next to you's leftover food.
Okay. Sounds insane. Let's hear it.
We were out to dinner at a small local sushi restaurant. Sushi makes it even worse for some reason. We were out to dinner at a small local sushi restaurant, and our waiter let us know that it would be about an hour wait for sushi since there was only one sushi chef that evening. We said no problem and opted to order other entrees. The table next to us was finishing up and had quite a bit of sushi left that they didn't take home. My date said he was going to ask the waiter for the leftover sushi. I was flabbergasted and asked if he was delusional. He said no and that it shouldn't go to waste. I said absolutely not, and he didn't end up asking. This was my long-term boyfriend, and he's never done that before. So at this point, not a deal breaker, but I'm not sure that would be my answer if it had been our first date. What do you think?
This is crazy.
it's less crazy because it's a long-term boyfriend.
Right. If I agree, if he said it on a first date, that would be like insane. He clearly wasn't interested in you.
Right. Or it just says a lot about
Or he's
everything
crazy.
else in his life.
Yeah.
Like, it does make sense that you were pushed to the point of like you went to a sushi place. I don't know if you drove there, but it was enough that it took enough to get there that you're like, we'll do entree items at a sushi place, which is like, to me, it's like,
Really desperate.
I would have left.
Yeah.
If I said, let's get sushi, and they were like, it's going to be an hour, we got one chef, you can go or stay, I would have left. Or it's like Saturday night, date night, you can't get another reservation. I would understand.
It might wait the hour. Maybe. Depends how bad. I don't know. The asking for the sushi, I guess, again, he feels a certain level of comfort with her. He feels free to be his disgusting self.
Right.
So that's one level. I also like that they're comfortable enough that she's like, absolutely not. Like,
Right.
You're insane.
It is.
Right. That's disgusting.
This is the feelings of a long-term relationship.
Right. Well, that's kind of like the beauty of it.
Right.
It's like when, we just talked about early dating and how in early dating, it's kind of like both people doing a little dance of like kind of trying to say what the other person wants to hear, but also not trying to like, trying to be honest. And long term, that's like the beauty of a long term relationship is you can just be like, shut up. You're absolutely not doing that. That's gross. Like, no.
I'm trying to think if I would do this.
You would not.
I don't think I would. It depends. If it's like those one single rolls.
It's a fully intact roll.
If it's like 6, what are they called when it's
roll?
6?
Maki.
It's maki or something. There's a 6 cut, and then there's a 2 cut.
Oh.
You know the 2 cut where it's the slabs of fish on top of the rice? That one I'd be more okay with having.
Why?
Because they're not touching, and it wasn't like grabbed at. I don't know. I'm trying to find the silver lining.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is it that disgusting? Like, in theory, probably not. Like, most people don't touch food that they don't eat, right? If it's still on like the main plate in the middle, is it? It's just more like, it's more like tacky. Not tacky. It's not the word.
It's
like,
a little embarrassing, but I guess that the reason my opinion is different is that hour that was warned to everybody. It is bad, but the whole place was given the same warning on the way in. Hey, it's going to be an hour. So if I saw someone across the restaurant eating sushi off of someone else's plate, I go, they got fucked by the hour too. Like, I don't know. And is it like a known sushi place? Is it like, I got to try this fucking sushi? Everyone's been talking about it.
He's just jonesing.
I don't know. Right. It is. It does.
I agree.
It isn't
Long-term
classy.
relationship. He didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
Red flag. First date. Deal breaker.
First date. Okay. So first date, same scenario. Hour wait for sushi. He made this reservation. We only got one sushi chef. And he's like, is it weird if I ask for their sushi?
I would think he was joking. I'd be like,
right.
huh, like,
funny.
I was like, yeah, totally, go for it.
Right. And then he does it.
I'd be like, oh.
I think the worst part about it is asking the waiter. Like, just go do it.
Right. It's
on the way to the
embarrassing.
bathroom.
That's what I'm saying. You're embarrassed. Then it's like you're with this person.
Right.
Here's the thing. If it's a first date and you must have the sushi, it's more about the sushi than being on the date. And that's the issue. It makes more sense in a long-term relationship because you're not here for like, just for my company. You're actually here for like the meal.
Right. To impress. Impressing me is not
number one thing concern of yours.
First date,
Shouldn't
it's
be.
like, how
Right.
little do you care about impressing me?
Right. And how much do you care about the sushi?
Yeah. Okay. No, yeah. I'm trying to think if I saw like a woman, scurry over to another table like a raccoon, start eating their leftovers.
I think they'd have to be like wasted for that to make any sense.
Right. No, I'd be out.
Yeah. I don't think you could take that person
No,
anywhere.
I can't.
All right. They recycle sex that includes someone else. I matched with this guy on Tinder who told me he had gone through a divorce 2 years ago. We were sexting when he sent a 15-second video of him having sex and said, "This is what you have to look forward to." Oh my God. I asked him if it was him, to which he replied, "Yes." I said, "I didn't like that." He said, "If it makes you feel any better, it's the only video I have and it's with my ex-wife." So red flag or deal breaker.
Oh, well, if it's with your ex-wife, yeah.
Oh my God, someone called the cops. So red flag or deal breaker. One, he sends you a picture of him having sex with someone else. And two, he still has dirty videos and pictures of his ex-wife. Okay. I think this is like illegal.
So it is
Right?
illegal.
Yeah.
It is.
You can't send someone pictures of like without their consent of you like doing something sexual.
Right. I guess, that aside, if we're like
fine.
to live in a world, I agree with you. Like there's legal ramifications of this. This guy's being pretty fast and loose with videos that include someone else, which we're not telling people to do. I guess in this scenario, the only thing that lets him off the hook to me is like they're sexting already. So like they're sexting already. If he sent let's change it to he sends a video of him masturbating.
Okay. I mean, that's a different scenario, though. There's a different than someone, like if you had sex with someone and a woman had that video on her phone and she was sending it to various guys.
Right.
That
I'm not
would be like
trusting that
deeply,
person.
What's the word? Like a violation.
Right.
Right.
No, you're right. I mean, that is, right. You're dealing with someone who, how can you trust them?
Yeah.
With anything.
It's gross. And also, like, why would you think that we'd want to see that? Why would I would never want to see a video of someone that I haven't even met yet. This is you having sex with someone else.
Right. I guess
Unless that was like my thing.
Apart from one another, it didn't make sense to me until it was all put together.
Okay.
Like apart from one another's like, oh, you're sexting, sends a video, sexual video. What's the problem? Then you go, oh yeah, but there's another person involved. This is illegal. Like there's also like, what's he going to do with your videos and pictures? What's he going to ask of you? Again,
he's so quick to send it too. It's not even like you asked for it.
Right. It's got to be a deal breaker.
100% a deal breaker. I would be like, honestly, I would also tell the guy that it was illegal and like really messed up that he was sending you that any video of you like having sex with someone with anyone.
Right. The number two though, having videos of you and your ex-wife still on your phone. That's not really
that part doesn't
here nor
bother
there.
me.
Yeah.
I unless they've asked you to delete it and you won't.
Right. Again, there's I'm sure there's more to the story than just having the video. But yeah, I'm with you. This is a deal breaker. I'd be scared away more than anything.
Yeah, I would be like, this guy's a little bit of a predator.
Right. If a woman sent me a video of her with another guy, it is interesting that you go, it's a little bit of a double where you go, but I would also I'd be fearful of her.
What if you found out an ex was sending out pictures of you having sex with them to other men?
How'd I do? If it's me going, I'm sorry, that never happens. Like that'd be, I don't want that video out there. Just me crying.
If you're doing well, it's fine.
What?
You did great, it's fine.
It's not fine. You don't want that out there. You don't want, you don't want that. That.
Yeah. To me,
again,
this is like horrifying.
I'm making jokes. You're horrified. Yeah. I'm sitting here like, no, I'd be horrified versus fearful though. That's the difference too. Like I guess that's the difference between men and women in this scenario.
I wouldn't even get to the point where I was fearful because I wouldn't have sex with him and like give him the ability to do that. I would be like immediately turned off by that.
Right. This is like the problem with the penis. Like, and I'm not I'm not talking from his perspective. I'm talking from hers. Like if I was in hers with a woman and I was having these sexual conversations and I was turned on by them, I'd be like, I wouldn't like getting this video, but I'd be still tempted.
Okay.
I'm not even like, that sounds icky, but you're like,
I mean,
you go, how horny am I? And you go, I hope I would have the strength to go, this is stupid, make the right decision.
Right.
Like you do, that happens where you go.
I can see while you're like already deep in the hole of like sexting, how maybe someone would think it was a good idea, but
you're a little drunk on the sexual
how
nature.
far you can push it.
Right. How far it's been pushed.
Right.
So you hope, again, like the penis brings down the man a lot of times.
Right. I don't know that many women are like are so turned on by thinking of a guy having sex with seeing a video of someone having sex with someone else that they're talking to.
I mean, I wouldn't be turned, I wouldn't be like asking for that. I'm like, if, there's other videos to send, but, again, even if someone sends a sexual video to me, I'm fearful of them a little bit too.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, this is almost like what's going on, you know?
Right.
Like
it doesn't feel like a safe adventure anymore. It just feels like an adventure.
I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do another.
Yeah. All right. Well, deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a deal breaker for me, but it is interesting where your brain goes.
Right.
You know? Last one. They lie about their age. Hey, J&J, all the feathers. Long-time listener, first time writing in. I'll get right to it. I have an interesting red flag or deal breaker for you that has me cringing at myself. I'm a 28-year-old female living in New York City. I met a guy last weekend when I was at a festival with one of my closest girlfriends. Me and him hit it off, dancing and making out all weekend. And he's been persistent in wanting to see me again and take me out on dates. Before any making out, he originally told me he was 22. Which is quite young for me, as I usually date guys my age or in their 30s. But we got along so well, so I was willing to look past it. Now that we've been texting, he tells me that he's 20. So, red flag or deal breaker, he lies about his age, is actually 8 years younger and not even drinking age. Signed, a 28-year-old cougar.
Honestly, like, it should be more of a turnoff to me that he lied, but to me, it's a bigger turnoff that he's actually 20.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be the deal breaker, I think. Even even if I could get over the lying, which is like whatever, like people lie about, it's kind of close, to be honest, still a lie, but I don't want to date someone who's 20.
No, if he was 26 and ended up being 24, then the question is the lie.
Right.
When
20 is
20,
like you're in college.
You're like, and again, and it's the other thing of like, I'd be like anxious.
If they were actually 20.
Right. And I'd also be anxious, like, how did I not ask? How did I not know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, how was I fooled on a 20-year-old? You know, like, right. I would be more like, okay.
Out. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
There's no, so yeah, it's the lying means not, you know, like if someone's like, oh, I'm 30 and they're 28. Or if they're 28 and they end up being 33. That doesn't like.
It's not as big of a deal.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Why'd you lie about your age?
Yeah.
It would be a red flag.
Yeah.
Lying at all.
Lying is a red flag. This is a deal breaker. 20
deal breaker.
20 is too
Gone.
young. 20 is like so young. If they cannot legally drink and you're 28, that is.
How did you get along so well?
Right. I guess they were dancing. Any place where if they met somewhere where they were dancing and making out all weekend, I can see why that might happen.
Also, festival, that helps it because you know
Right.
the same bands. So like the music becomes like the language. Like, you know,
Right.
if you know who's the guitarist, it makes you feel older, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, she said, now that we've been I wonder if he told her that he was 20 now that they've been texting, because he's like, I
got homework tonight. I can't go out.
Sorry. I've got the Sig Pie mixer.
Yeah. Well, it's like that scene in Old School.
Oh, yeah.
But he was actually at a fraternity house that he was, you know, like at a fraternity party. So like that makes sense.
Yeah, that made more
would...
sense in that scenario.
Right. Well, we solved dating again today.
We did it. Proud of us. And we'll be back on Sunday with a Sunday special.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.